court judgments, elections and court judgments we'll see today. So during elections time, that is at the polling time, voters, while casting their vote, they were not known to whom they voted. So here a case has been filed in the Supreme Court. That is Dr. Subramanya Swamy. So the case is called Dr. Subramanya Swamy case. It is in 2013. In 2013, in the case of, it is a case filed in the Supreme Court. In that case, Subramanya Swamy wanted clear-cut information that whether voter have the right to know to whom they have voted. So in this case, Supreme Court has given judgment that voter should be given VVPAT, which means voter verified paper audit trail. The voter verified paper audit trail, in short VVPAT. While casting vote by voter, there by voting machine, a printed paper comes out into the voting machine tally. It shows to whom you voted is correct or not. That means voter is given the right to verify their cast voted is correctly or not. So this is the judgment of the Supreme Court in 2013. Then onwards, every time in the elections, in voting machine, we find voter is given. Voter is given in the sense voter is not given a receipt. Here, voter will verify. There a printed paper will come out of the voting machine there arranged in the polling booth, and that appears for 2 seconds. Then after it goes into the what to call a sealed box, which is connected to the voting machine. Okay, so that is a facility provided by the election commission after the case in 2013. Okay, and another case in 2013, that is called People's Union of Civil Liberties. People's Union of Civil Liberties. This is a case. In this case, there the court has given the judgment voter have freedom that to cast his vote against all the contesting candidates. We see number of contesting candidates names on the ballot paper, right? So voter may not like any of the candidates on the ballot paper. Then at that time, to whom he has to vote? He want to give his vote that he is not interested on any of the contesting candidates. So earlier we would have seen a ballot paper consisting of names of the contesting candidates, and in that ballot paper there was no option for voter to cast his vote against all the contesting candidates. So in 2013, in the case of People's Union of Civil Liberties, Election Commission has introduced a new option which allows the voter to cast his vote against all the contesting candidates. And that option we call here none of the above. None of the above. In short, it is called nota. Instead, for the first time, this option nota introduced in a state legislative elections, state assembly elections at Delhi. First time the option nota introduced in Delhi assembly elections. Then after Mizoram, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, and Chhattisgarh. Okay, nota is only one option. Suppose if majority of the votes are filed or casted to the nota, then the second majority candidate will be declared as a winner of the election. Okay, in order to get a majority of the voters at a polling booth, there this option is introduced. Understand? That means earlier the candidates who don't want to vote for any of the candidate, they did not come forward because there was no option in the ballot paper. Compulsory, they had gone for voting to some of the candidate against their will also. They were not interested to vote anyone, but as they enter into polling booth, to someone they have to vote. Understand? Against their will. What is their will? They don't want to anyone. Right? So now there is an option that is nota. Understand? So if majority votes are polled to the nota, then the second majority candidate is declared as a winner of the election. It is just one option. Instead, the candidates secures what to call freedom here. Understand? To cast his vote against all the voters. Understand? This is another case. Understand? And another important case we see in 2013, that is People's Union of Civil Liberties. In the same case, there the Supreme Court has given judgment the candidates who want to stand in elections either to the parliament or to the state legislative bodies, that is for MLA post, or to the what to call a sarpanch or ward member, for whatever it is, they have to give their details clearly. It is mandatory, compulsory. Every contesting candidate has to give his details regarding his crime record. Earlier, he may have some crime record, understand? Maybe he got punishment for a crime, understand? Then about his wife, how many children they have, what are the assets, property, and how much liabilities they have, what is the education qualification. These all are needed for the voters, right? When voter want to vote, voter should know about the contesting candidate clearly, right? So the court has given the judgment under People's Union of Civil Liberties that contesting candidates have to give their details clearly regarding their crime record and what to call their wife, what is name, how many children they have, what are the assets and education qualifications. All these are needed. Understand? These are the what cases we see. Understand? Next, we go for a ruling party at the time of election. Right? It is a election time. We see there is a chance to the ruling party to influence the voters by misusing the power. Ruling party in the sense what? The party which is in power, right? So the party which is in power can misuse the power. So to check the misusing power by ruling party, election commission have given certain rules and regulations. Okay. The first one is that ruling party is not allowed to misuse the power. How they can go for misusing the power? They may use their power for getting success in an election by mobilizing the government officers. Government officers may be forced to work according to the ruling party. That is called misusing. Okay, so ruling party leaders are not allowed to misuse the power. Okay, they are not allowed to use government workers for party related work. Understand? For party related work, ruling party has to go for using the party work only. That means party members. Government employees, that is collectors, government officers, all these should not be used for party work. If they use that government workers for party work, it is malpractice instead, and that is considered as a crime violation of the code of conduct according to the norms of EC instead. Here we see second important point that ruling party is not allowed to use government vehicles for election campaign. Okay, when they are going for election campaign publicity, uh, giving demonstration on the streets, they have to use their own vehicle. Now KCR is in power. Okay, during the GHMC elections, now GHMC elections are there. So in GHMC elections, KCR may go for what? Advocating about his party, right? So while advocating his party in the demonstrations, he should use his personal vehicle. He is not allowed to use a government vehicle. Understand? So that is the point here. Understand? So ruling party is not allowed to use the what government vehicles for their election campaign. Okay, and if they go for using their vehicles, then the expenditure of that vehicle should be shown in election expenditure. Understand? We see that as per the election norms, 3 security vehicles are allowed for a ruling party for their campaign. When they go for using more than 3 vehicles during the election campaign, then the extra vehicles should be shown in the expenditure of election. According to the EC, at every election, some limit is mentioned by election commission on the expenditure. Okay, that is election expenditure, right? It means when during the election time, several political parties may go for expensing some crores, right, for their party related work instead. So ruling party may go for expensing much more, right? So for all the contesting candidates and all the political parties, their election commission keeps an upper limit of election expenditure. Beyond that, if the election expenditure is beyond that and what you call crosses that limit, it is violation to the code of conduct. Understand? So here the ruling party is allowed to use 3 security vehicles. Understand? More than 3 security vehicles, if they use, then the ruling party should show the extra vehicles as a expenditure in what to call their election expenditure. Understand? Another point, model code of conduct will be enforced after the dates of election schedule is announced. See, for example, EC is announcing the dates of election schedules when the election will start. That means polling. Okay, when the dates are announced, along with the announcement of schedules of elections, then the code of conduct also comes into effect. Okay, right? And public properties should not be used. For example, party related campaign is going, they want to conduct, ruling party want to conduct a public meeting. So where they have to conduct a public meeting, they have to conduct at the party offices, or what to call a an open place, taking it a rent. They should not use government buildings, government offices, or what to call government places for what to call party related meetings instead. Right? This is also one important point. Okay, and there should not be advertisements about the government schemes. Okay, in the what to call media. Understand what is by media? In the newspapers, or what to call in the TV channels, they should not telecast about their schemes. Now KCR is going for GHMC elections, so he should not advocate his party schemes, that what you call Kalyana Lakshmi, Shadi Mubarak, understand, then Raitu Bandhu. These schemes should not be advocated during the election time. Okay, in the newspapers and what to call in the media, that is a TV channels, understand. And before giving announcements on TV and political party on TVs and newspapers, political parties have to take prior permission from the election commission. Understand? When election notification is issued, then ruling government, they they should not release any funds and any payments for announcing the new scheme. Now election commission has announced what notification of elections. When election notification is allowed, ruling party may try to attract the voters, so it may go on giving promises for new schemes. For example, unemployment is much more, so unemployees are not happy with the ruling party. So to attract the unemployees, ruling party may go for what declaring that some pension for unemployees when election is going on. Understand? This is what a violation to the code of conduct. Understand? So all these have to be followed by the ruling party at the time of elections. Understand? Elections will be conducted at various levels. Okay, elections are conducted at a national level by the Chief Election Commissioner of India, right? And at states level, we find elections are conducted by Election Commission of India by appointing one chief electoral officer at state level. Okay, chief electoral officer is from IAS cadre. That means the senior most IAS officer is appointed as a chief electoral, not election, chief electoral officer for conducting elections at state level. At a state level, understand? And his post is not a constitutional status. See, Chief Election Commissioner of India, that is Sunil Arora now. His post is the constitutional post. Okay, it is a constitutional body. So his post is what a constitutional status. But the chief electoral officer at state level is not a constitutional status. He is appointed by the Chief Election Commissioner of India with a what to call support and consulting. Sorry, with by consulting to the state government, Chief Electoral Officer is appointed by Election Commissioner. Understand? So at states level, elections to the parliament, elections to the state legislative assemblies are what to call conducted by chief electoral officers. Understand? So elections to the parliament and elections to the assemblies at a state level are monitored, observed, understand, by what to call this electoral officer, understand. And at district level, elections are conducted by the chief election officer, understand. Then who is going to act as a chief election officer, right? That is a district collector. Okay, in every district collector acts like a chief election officer for conducting elections at a district level. Understand? And in every constituency, elections are conducted. For every constituency, we find one officer to monitor the elections to run, to conduct in a smooth and fair manner. One officer is appointed for monitoring the elections at every constituency, and he is called returning officer. Understand? Returning officer is what to call an in charge for a constituency to monitor the election. Okay, and here district collector acts like a chief election officer. Understand? And here we see that the candidates who registered their names in the election commission, that is in the voter list, they are eligible to stand in the election, that is to contest. Okay, suppose if anybody want to stand in election and contest in election, he should have his name what to call registered in voter list. That means he should have voter card. Who will get voter card? Whose names are registered with EC, that is election commission, right? So the candidate who want to become the representative and to stand in the election, his name must be registered with EC. Understand? Then after, he has to submit nomination papers to the returning officer. Then who is returning officer here? That is district collector. Understand? District collector, who is a chief election officer, also acts like a what to call a returning officer to monitor the elections at a district level. Okay, so nomination papers. Suppose a candidate want to stand in election, then he has to fill the nomination papers and submit to the returning officer instant, and that nomination must be supported by one registered elector in that constituency. Suppose one candidate is going to stand in your district in election, so from that district one more registered candidate has to support this particular candidate who is contesting elections. Understand? So we find two types of contesting candidates in elections. One is what you call party candidate who stands in election contests in election on the side of the party. Recently in Dubaka by elections, we have seen Raghurandan Rao. He stood up in election from the side of BJP. So he is called a BJP candidate. That means BJP party candidate. Understand? Right? And if any candidate stands or contest in election on his own, that means not from any political party, then he is called a independent candidate. So in every elections we find independent candidates and party candidates. Understand? So these are the what two types of what candidates we find in elections. Understand? So the returning officer, after receiving the nominations from the contesting candidates, he observes the what nomination papers. He scrutinizes. That means he finds whether the candidates are eligible for contesting or not. That is identified by the returning officer. That process is called scrutinization. What we call scrutinization. Understand? So there will be scrutinizing to the nominations. After completing the nominations, then the final list of the candidates contesting in elections is prepared by the returning officer, and they will be allotted symbols. Party candidates will be given party symbol. Suppose a candidate standing from BJP, so for that candidate, BJP symbol, that is a lotus, is given. Okay. Suppose a candidate is standing on his own, independent candidate is there. So for independent candidate, election commission allots separate symbols which are with EC. They will be given separate symbol. Understand? Who? Independent candidates. Understand? So with the symbols and what you call names of the contesting candidates, their EVMs are prepared. Look at this EVM. Understand? There you will find a number of names and their symbols. Okay, here we find independent candidates with their with new symbols allotted by EC. Party candidates will find their party symbols. Understand? So in this way, EVMs are prepared. What do you mean by EVMs? Electronic voting machines. Understand? They are allotted with the party candidates and party symbols. Okay, right? So for every elections, election commission will go on doing the same process. Instead, it may be for parliament elections, it may be for MLA elections, it may be for what local self government bodies, that is sarpanch, upasarpanch, or what to call municipality elections, now the GHMC elections. For all these elections, the process is what same. Understand? So at what to call every constituency, we find one chief election officer in the district. He arranges all the arrangements for conducting the polling. Understand? So polling persons will be allotted for every polling booth. Every polling booth, in every polling booth we find one in charge who is called presiding officer. Understand? So presiding officer will be for every polling booth, and presiding officer is assisted by some polling agents. Understand? There will be polling agents in the what to call every polling booth. So in every polling booth we find what to call polling officer, that we call him presiding officer, and polling agents, and also polling officers, other polling officers who assist presiding officer. Look at this figure. Understand? You'll find a presiding officer who is in charge of the polling booth, and he is assisted by some polling officers and also polling agents. Last class we discussed who are polling agents. Those who are from party candidates. Understand? They carry what to call some ID cards given by EC. Okay, right here is a voting machine covered by a small four walls. Instead, there they have to vote. Instead, in this way, we find what to call voting is arranged. That means elaborate arrangements are made by the presiding officer at a polling booth, and every constituency what to call completely arranged by the chief election officer regarding the what conducting the elections. Okay, this is at the polling booth. Understand? So here we see that there some election reforms are needed for a smooth and fair manner of conducting elections. Understand? Postal ballot paper. Understand? Postal ballot paper mean some of the teachers and state government employees and central government employees are used for conducting the pollings. So those who go for what discharging the polling duties, they will be given what to call a postal ballot. Well in advance to the polling date, they will get a postal ballot at home. So before to the elections, before to the polling date, these what to call polling staff who are going to discharge their polling duties, they will give their vote by post ballot. That means a postman, a special postman who comes with a postal ballot which is completely sealed one. At home only they use what their what to call vote in the postal ballot before to the what conducting the before to discharging their polling, because they will be busy in discharging their polling duties instead. So at that time they cannot vote instead, so that what they are given postal ballot. By elections and what to call midterm election, general elections are conducted once for 5 years. Okay, within the 5 years, if elections are conducted once again, that is called midterm elections. What we call midterm elections. Okay, if some certain seats in a parliament or assembly are vacated, then elections are conducted. Those are called by elections. Understand? So this is about the what our